All right, we are live. Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to episode number 5 of your podcast, Upcoming Retro Podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Video Game Votary, and I'm joined by the First Lady of Upcoming Retro, Miss AkayGames. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How was your week?
Oh, busy. I got a new puppy, so that's
Oh
been taking
wow,
up all of my time. So I'm just glad to focus in on this and do my gaming stuff and forget about life for a bit, really.
that's yeah. Having a puppy definitely can be challenging. All the training and everything like that. Like it's
Yeah.
literally you literally have a child.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I realized it, but I didn't realize, the little like intricacies or whatever. It's
Yeah.
kind of tedious work. So I'm glad to
Oh
just
yeah.
get back to my gaming stuff.
Yeah, definitely. That's good though. That's awesome. Yeah, so you weren't here last week. We had an interesting episode.
Oh yeah.
So you seen clips of that where we were kind of just discussing just the toxic behaviors and stuff like that in the gaming community that plagues it. So since you weren't here last week, just want to know if you had any thoughts on that you would you could give some input, your opinion on that and what you've experienced.
Yeah, so I actually do, and that's why I'm so bummed that I missed last week because there's so many things that I encounter as a girl in gaming with toxic stuff
I'm
and stuff
sure.
like that. So I'm gonna tell a little story because I tell this to everybody.
Okay.
So one day I'm pretty big on Rainbow Six Siege. One day I started playing it, and this was back when you could vote to kick people out. So
Hmm.
I hop on the mic, and as soon as they hear me speak, they all just vote to kick me, and I'm like, what the heck?
Wow.
So I just think that's one of the most toxic things you could do in a game because half the time or over half the time I'm better than all of them. They never
Yeah.
know how like what the value I can bring. They just assume that I'm not gonna know how to play. So
Right.
it's just funny. And I have so many friends, girlfriends who's gamers, and they get the same treatment. So yeah, I think that's the number one toxic thing for me is don't just assume that somebody's not gonna know how to play the game. Like that's so stupid to me.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy. And I'm glad you shared that story because we definitely want to put the spotlight on you today to get the audience to, if they're not familiar with you, get to know you a little bit in your journey and streaming and gaming and things like that. So just want to start off with like the basics. Like, what was it like growing up? What area did you grow up in? And what was it like growing up?
Yeah, so I'm from the Midwest, and honestly, growing up, there weren't too many people I knew like that played video games. My family did. My dad introduced me to video games,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and my sister did a bit. But as far as friends, nobody played. I had brothers that would occasionally play, but I think it was obvious that the biggest gamer in the family was me. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I kind of just took that and ran with it ever since I was like probably like 2 years old. Like ever
That's
since I could hold a controller.
wow. That's interesting. And I was definitely going to ask that question. Like, what was your start in gaming? So, what I guess as far back as you can remember, like around what age was it that you can think as far back as possible that you first
Yeah.
start playing anything?
Yeah. So like I said, I mean, I was really young. I had to have been like maybe 2 or 3. And my dad would just pass me the controller and I didn't know what I was doing. I was just glad, sit there and like do
Uh,
something with my hands or something. And then, as I got older, I think I realized I had like a connection like with the TV. And then I just like running around doing stupid stuff. I know I probably shouldn't have say this, but I did play like a lot of GTA like when I was really
oh
young because when
wow.
I would just run around and like just do like dumb stuff. I didn't really know what was going on, but like I think I just liked running around and doing like just random stuff or like driving the car or something like that. So I played that from a really young age. Of course,
Mhm.
Jack and Dexter, Sly
Okay.
Cooper, Spyro. Those are all
Okay.
just like really big, like nostalgia ties to me.
Okay. So, with that being said, like, what era in gaming was it like that you were introduced?
Yeah. So definitely PS2. I do
Okay.
remember some PS1, but I think I really started getting into it at PS2. Um,
Mhm.
and then right after that, the first Xbox.
Okay.
So those are just the three main ones. The only thing I remember playing on PS1 was like this stupid baseball game. That's the only thing I remember playing on PS1 growing up. It was like a baseball game, but yeah, really, I just started with PS2 and games like that.
That's definitely a good era to start at. For
Hmm.
the PS2 has a really large library. One of our
They do.
co-hosts, Mr. Rec, was just going after a complete set. I think it's like 1900 games, something like that.
Yeah,
Something insane, but that was a that was a really good era in gaming for
it was
sure. Like,
awesome.
yeah, I think that's when PS2 for sure took it to another level. That's
Hmm.
for sure. Um, so when was it that you realized like it was a little more than casual gameplay? When did you notice like it was a real connection and you felt like you liked it a little bit more than the norm? When was that
Yeah.
moment? What did that feel like?
Yeah, so I'll always remember this. I was sitting at home because honestly, when I was a teenager, I was kind of a loner. I just sat and watched TV, played video games, but it wasn't until Uncharted 4 came out. I believe that was in 2016, around that time, if not.
Mhm.
And I played that game, and the story just like touched me so much. Like, pause on that. That sounds weird, but the story just it really like got to me,
Yeah.
and the gameplay and stuff like that. And I was like, at first I was like, oh, I really want to go into making these video games. And that's a whole nother story, but I really want to go into making video games and really be a part of this because I've always loved telling stories and making the audience feel something and stuff like that. And it's just like, that's just the first game that really like struck a nerve, not a nerve, but
Yeah.
like a good a good nerve in my mind, and it just always stuck with me. And it was my favorite game for a long time until it got replaced by Red Dead Redemption 2.
Most definitely. Yeah, that's a great story, and that's a great game too. And that's one of the great things now, especially now. In my era of gaming when I started, when I was
Mhm.
younger, there wasn't a whole lot of depth and detail in the story. Probably not until like I would say SNES, because the NES games
Mhm.
weren't super long. So I guess like SNES is when they started the storytelling. But you know, I really love when a game has a compelling story because, like you said, it could tug on your emotions. You
Yeah.
just get fully just involved in the game. Like you just fully invested in it. And speaking of which, I'm not going to assume that that's your favorite one, but what game have you played that you felt touched you the most emotionally? Like
Red
what
Dead Redemption
storyline was
2. Red
really
Dead
okay?
Redemption 2.
Okay.
That is my favorite game of all time. It has the best story in my opinion, the best gameplay. Like there's so many like little things that were put into that game that it's just insane that like you wouldn't even think that you could like interact with. Like my
Hmm.
favorite game of all time. And it's like I wish I could play that game again for the first time, but it's not
Yeah.
possible. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
definitely Red Dead Redemption 2.
that's awesome. So unfortunately I haven't played that yet. I know. I have
Oh.
it though. I have it. I just haven't
Mhm.
played it. But as far as for me, the storyline that got me the most, it's kind of a toss up. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna edge it and give it to the original Last of Us.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one as well.
Yeah, I was like really invested in that, and I remember playing it, and I love when a game gets me locked in like that, where
Mhm.
I turn back into like the teenager and can't wait to get off of work instead of school,
Mhm.
get off of work and jump on the game. That story was awesome. Um,
Awesome story. That's a good
and
one.
yeah, I got the second one, and I need to play it. I hear it's not as good.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't wanna say it's not as good, but, like, it's emotional. It's way more emotional than the first one.
Yes, and I'm an emotional being, so I hope I don't end up crying playing this game once I get around to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
some
spoilers for me.
sometimes. Okay, all right, great. I'm glad you didn't spoil it for me because that's definitely like on my list of trying to actually get around to playing it. It's
Yeah.
difficult being a content creator and finding time, work, family life, and all that just to try to play some of these games. But it's absolutely on my list, that's for sure. So,
Mhm.
um, another question I wanted to get into was you are more so in because in the gaming community, as far as content creation is concerned, you kind of got different lanes. You have your retro collectors, you have your actual gamers, and then you have streamers. So, what category would you feel like you fall best into?
Um, I want to say more casual, modern, with a touch of retro. you know,
Okay.
I definitely don't consider myself a streamer, although it's something I might dabble in later. But I'm the
Hmm.
type of person that I don't like to stick to one lane because I get bored really
Yeah, yeah.
easily. So as long I still do want some continuity in it, but I
Hmm.
like to, change it up every now and then.
Yeah.
But I mean, as I just said, like I love like PS2 games. So just because I do touch on like news and like modern day doesn't mean I'm not gonna go back to, the basics or like
Right.
when I was growing up and stuff like that. So yeah, kind of all the above minus streaming.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's interesting, especially with um just in gaming in general, but not only that, but also female in this gaming space, as well as being a female of color,
Mhm.
which you have two kind of really big stigmas and things that kind of go against you a little bit. Um, how would you say either one affects you more, or would you say they are equally challenging to overcome?
Um, to be honest, from what I've seen, just
Mhm.
being a girl or woman in gaming affects me more than being because nobody's gonna come out and say like, oh, you're black, like you don't play the game. I've never seen that. I've not. It's more so like, oh, like I get back to the kitchen, make a like just stupid
Yeah,
stuff like that.
right,
Like,
right. Just the
and honestly,
trolls.
like, yeah, like honestly, I just laughed because like I said, like most of the time I'm probably better than them in the game or know more than them in the industry. So it's just
Yeah,
I don't take it seriously, but more so I think it's just being a woman in gaming.
yeah. So that's obviously I can't relate to that. Only thing I can relate to is being a creator of color,
Hmm.
which has its own. Um, I just think it's more so we just overlooked, because if you just look at just gaming in general, it kind of has like a look,
Yeah.
and we obviously don't fit that description, and we probably get, you know s- stereotype play fighting games and sports titles all the time, which is somewhat true. That's definitely like a lot of people of color's origins of gaming, because we
Hmm.
played a ton of sports titles, just being competitive and being involved in sports. So that's something that I tend to enjoy from time to time. It's not very often anymore that I uh, indulge in sports games, but um, definitely, the stigma. I don't know if it's just maybe it's a feeling of lack of knowledge, or like he doesn't look like he plays that game, which I mean, I guess in a way that's kind of fair to say, but when it comes to gaming, you can't even really put that stereotype on people,
No.
like, because you really can't. I guess the typical gamer is the nerdy looking guy, but now it's like the nerdy person is the cool person.
Hmm.
Like a few years ago, if I'm wearing this, oh, look at him, he's a nerd. But now it's like
Hmm.
it's literally it's a common thing. Even
Yeah.
if people are not in the game, it became very common that
Hmm.
these graphic tees and stuff like that. So the description now kind of falls out, but it's still like that lingering effect for whatever reason. But I also realized, just meeting people at conventions, that that's not really the deal. It's just really online trolls, and I think it's
Yeah.
just people just have nothing better to do, but to, I guess, bother people and try to get them off their game, so to speak.
Hmm.
Well, we're gonna head over to the chat. We got Retro Collector in the house. Retro Card
Hey.
Collector, what's up? And if you guys got any questions for AK Games, leave them in the chat, because we definitely want to get you guys involved with this episode. Um, let's see,
I
where
do
do I
have a
want to?
little thing to touch based off of what you just said about
Oh,
like
sure, go.
yeah, how people like what people think you play based off of how you look. I get
Right.
so many like people that say, "Oh, why aren't you playing like Stardew Valley or why aren't you playing Animal Crossing?" I made a video on Mortal Kombat and they're like, "You don't look like you play Mortal Kombat." Like, or I didn't think you'd play Mortal Kombat. Like, why? Like,
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
get it. Like, what gives that off besides, me just being a girl? It doesn't make any sense. So I definitely can relate to that.
Yeah. That's definitely true. Because, I mean, I guess it's just because it's like one of those things where when you if you visualize a girl, you don't really see them playing that, like especially Mortal Kombat. I guess to some degree I can see that. That's pretty graphic,
I
but
love it.
yeah, but at the same time, like I mean, you said you got some of your stars playing GTA,
Yeah.
so that to me that it doesn't get any higher than that in regards to basically being the polar opposite of what you think someone will play or what they're
Yeah.
into. It's like, so that's very funny that you kind of got you start with GTA. It's like borderline insane that you started with that. Like, it's that set the bar so high for you. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. I think it was San Andreas, so that one's one of the best to me. And yeah, it did set the bar pretty high.
yeah, that's actually crazy to think, because those storylines, that was one of the I want to say those were one of the, like, the origins of these really large open world games, and it was so much packed
Mm-hmm.
into those GTA games, and obviously that's still the case now, but especially at that time, that was when GTA really took off,
Mm-hmm.
and I think people think that that's, arguably the better ones. How do you feel about that? What is the best GTA game in your opinion?
Definitely San Andreas is up there.
Hmm.
Um, I like GTA 5, but it's hard not to say that's the best one. It's like the newest one.
Right.
And it has all this stuff. But I think just when
Yeah.
I think of best GTAs, I think San Andreas, GTA 4, and I also really like Vice City Stories, even though I know it's not the best. It's just a nostalgia tie to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are my top ones.
Okay. Yeah. The one that I remember the most, or rather, I should say, the most significant memory was actually on the Dreamcast, where it was still like that top down
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
view. I still had a ton of fun. Like, I remember like diving to that game because I really enjoyed the Dreamcast when that came
Hmm.
out, and my brother had that game. And honestly, that wasn't a game he would typically play.
Hmm.
If we talk about stereotypes, like it was different, and that was kind of like my first time kind of going in that lane, and I just thought that was cool, even though it was like that kind of top down view, which
Yeah.
typically you won't really enjoy, especially not a game like that. Like, that was a little
Hmm.
strange, but it was super fun. And I want to say, was that GTA 3? I want to say
I
that was
think
GTA 3. Let me look
I
that up
thought
real quick. It's
GTA
worth
3
me.
was Liberty City, but I'm not positive.
I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember, but it's definitely worth me looking up because I'm curious of which one that was. Somebody in the chat knows, leave it in the comments. It was, what is GTA 2. That's what it was. I was kind
Yeah.
of thinking it was between 2 and 3. And Retro Cart comment in the comment section. So San Andreas is awesome. I remember seeing GTA 3 for the first time and thinking this is going to change the face of the game. And that would be accurate, because it for sure. I want to say that was like when um it became a really big thing as far as having someone 18 or older buying the game.
Oh,
Like, that was, I remember that being a really, really big deal at that time. Like, normally you go in there, but then they were like, "Oh, your parents got to be in." And I want to say that was pretty sure that was like the beginning. Like, it
mhm.
really, really started with that, and now it kind of fell off to some degree. I think GameStop employees, they'll ask, especially if they see somebody relatively young, but it became a really, really big deal at that time with that game specifically, just because of the content that was in there. And I mean, it's leaps and bounds crazier now. It's just, even just that clip of the preview for GTA 6, she's like, that had so much of that.
Yeah, I have another little funny story about the age with the GTA and me playing when I was young. My
Go
grandma
for it.
actually bought me a GTA game. I forget which one, but I think she bought it at like a Target or something. She brought it up to the front and they were like, "Do you like know what this game is?" She's like, "Yeah, it's fine." Blah blah blah. And they were like trying to warn her not to buy it.
Snitches.
and she she's like, "I didn't know it was like that." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, yeah. It's like that because of what it was at that time. Like, it was a really
Yeah.
big deal, and it's like, especially if you was a kid, like, you probably hated all Target and Walmart employees. Like, shut up! Like,
Yeah, yeah.
we know what it is. I want to play the
Yeah.
game, but I mean, that was the beginning of crossing over to like, I'm not even gonna say reality based because that was the other bad side to that where kids were like acting out and they automatically just said it's because of the video games. Like I
Yeah,
really that still kind of follows. I think it's a lot of like the older generation that wants to say or find reasons, and that's kind of like their scapegoat. Like, yeah,
yeah,
well, if he didn't let him play these video games, like, come on, bro, like,
yeah. It's
you,
never the parenting, right?
yeah, you got to take more responsibility. Me being a parent now, I've heard it from other people. Oh
Mm-hmm.
well, you shouldn't let them play, bro. It's my job to explain to my children that this is fake. It's not real
Yeah.
life. You don't go out and I'm not gonna sit up there and make fun or challenge anyone's children, but at the same time, it's again, it still just starts with the parenting.
Mm-hmm.
You should. It's no way that you can kind of not be able to tell the difference between a video game and real life, or to think I can go outside and run people over with cars. Like
Yeah.
what are we really talking about? Like that's just a
Yeah.
scapegoat, and I hated that became a thing, and borderline still a thing, or even the weird stuff now where I got other family members like my nephews and stuff like that their parents won't let them play Roblox, and it's
Um,
because of the people in the chat. It's not the
Oh
game,
yeah, yeah.
it's the people that's in the chat. But as the parent, it's your job to monitor that. You can go in the settings and change who your kids interact with, but they don't want to take
Mm-hmm.
the time to do it. You got to be able to do
Mm-hmm.
that, and making sure you stay on top of your kids to pay attention to what they're playing, and if you're gonna allow them to play it. Because my thing is whether or not they they actually play it or not is more so just teaching them to identify. Okay, this isn't real. This you can't do these type of things in life, and also having the conversation of what's right and what's wrong. Because kids nowadays growing up super fast, they're going to school, they're seeing
Mm-hmm.
and hearing a lot of stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you don't want to teach them at home. Yeah, it's okay to do and say this. That's not. We still want them to be respectful, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, it's like a lot of stuff they're going to see and hear at school. So
Mm-hmm.
even to, I guess, kind of have those. It's still big. Still goes down to the parents. You got to have those talks with them to get them to understand. Like, even though you hear this, we don't want you to speak like this, or we don't want you to act like this.
Yeah.
So it's a responsibility where parents got to do a little bit more paying attention, and and I'm kind of robbing these kids of feeling like they can't play certain things because it kind of sucks. Like even down to Fortnite, oh, they're killing. Like, bro, that's like Barney. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's Barney shooting. There's no blood. There's nothing. I could see like maybe Call of Duty or
Yeah.
Rainbow
Well,
Six or something like that. Like, come on,
yeah.
Fortnite, seriously? Like, yeah, it's
Well,
shooting,
I
bro.
I said I played GTA and look how it turned out. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's an excuse.
yeah. And then you look at like some of the most successful people. Like a lot of them played a lot of video games. I mean, so you're gonna say that they turned out bad? Like
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I hate the fact that people use games as scapegoats for not doing proper parenting and taking that extra step to ensure that your kids are being safe and playing the right stuff, and also be able to identify the difference between real and fake. So
Mm-hmm.
that was definitely a time, and we got to thank GTA for that, and Rockstar Games, because they definitely kicked off. That was a big thing. It really was kind of trying to think what else at that time was kind of raising red flags. I'm positive that it was GTA. We know that that was the start and that was the biggest
Yeah.
thing, but I can't. Mortal Kombat. That, well, yeah, the original Mortal Kombat kind of had a thing
Mm-hmm.
because of the blood and gore, and me being a Nintendo fan. Unfortunately, the Super Nintendo one they made different from the second one. The second one was a little more graphic, more blood and stuff like that. But other than that, like those were like kind of like the really origins of like the, what is it rated? I don't even know. Rated M? It's not
Yeah,
rated M,
rated
is it?
M.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
everything in that time was kind of like, like mascot, like
Yeah.
very kid friendly. I mean,
Hmm.
I think like because I talked about Jack and Dexter a lot. I mean, the first one was pretty good, but I know as they made more, it did start getting a little more like risque, you know.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
mean, still like probably nothing compared to GTA
nah,
or yes, even Mortal Kombat. Yeah, because they did have some kind of inappropriate stuff in there, but not too much.
yeah. So we got another comment in the chat. Believe it or not, there was controversy around Streets of Rage. Really, I'm curious about that. Other than I guess you walk around with a knife or weapons and beat people up. I mean, but that really just seemed like so. Like, I mean, think about the style of GTA and how it looked. Like, it didn't seem aggressive, but I guess I could see that. I can understand that. I never really thought about that too much. Got another comment back when the OG TMNT cartoon came out. Remember people saying it was causing violence on the play. Oh, yeah. So these things right here, right? When you think about stuff like that, like most kids, boys growing up, especially when I was younger, 80s babies, we were wrestling is absolutely deep rooted in a lot of kids' lives. And even that, they put out those things, but we were wrestling. Like, I feel like kids were kids then. Boys were doing boy stuff. We were doing rough stuff. We were doing wrestling moves we ain't had no business doing, because we can even look at stuff like that and say the same thing. But it's like, and even to music, it was always something where instead of it being the parents' fault, it was always something else.
Hmm.
Instead of it really just being a part of childhood and just regular, just being a child. We're always probably, as children, I think children are attracted to things that they can't have. That's normally what it is. We grow up to be
Yeah.
adults and we spend thousands or hundreds on video games because we couldn't do it as a kid. And
Hmm.
that's a lot of time that's where it kind of starts for us, just having those times where we are able to do things that we can't, because it's always just that intriguing thought, like, mom said I can't have it, but I kind of want to. Why can't I have it? What is it? What is it?
Hmm.
So you turn it on, you kind of like, take it back. But I think about games like Doom and Diablo and stuff like that,
Oh yeah.
where they didn't really get too much. I mean, I don't know if it's just the imagery and like how the graphic design, because I mean, Doom was kind of crazy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And a
Yeah. It
really
is.
crazy game that I still think is crazy now, because of course now the GTA isn't even like the tip of the iceberg anymore. Like, they got so much stuff going so much deeper now, where
Hmm.
GTA is almost borderline an afterthought. It's more so about how great the game is versus the risque material in the game. But one game that storyline's kind of deep, but it's not. Um, I guess it can be portrayed as negative, but Castlevania, the one on 360, what was that one? Um, I was actually streaming that and I turned it off just because I'm like, I'm really funny about uh my spirituality. So
Yeah.
like there's touched into like evil and evil spirits and
Uh
demonic stuff. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
sometimes that's pushing it.
yeah.
I wanted
I
to say, oh
Go ahead.
sorry. I was just gonna say I wanted to say kind of going back on GTA. I feel like it's not even um like the graphic stuff anymore that's pushing it
Hmm.
with that game, but it's more of like the humor, because they can get pretty offensive now with the humor,
Yeah.
and I'm very curious when GTA 6 comes out how that's gonna go, because we have some really sensitive people um
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
yeah, that's
that's a
gonna be
good
the
point.
problem.
That's a good point. That's a very, very good point, because they definitely started using some choice words.
Yeah.
In different terminology within that game. So, but I mean, I guess we'll see. It kind of seems like stuff kind of shied away from that as far as
Mhm.
gaming getting a big rap. But if the wrong person sees it, I imagine I guarantee they're gonna have some stuff that's gonna offend somebody. You know,
It's gonna like that's
yeah,
just what Rockstar does with
yeah,
GTA. Like it's so satirical and stuff
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why people just take it to heart, because it's like they're not
Yeah.
talking to you. You know what I mean? Like I remember even they were talking about the game Bully for a while. Like I find stuff like that just funny. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
just
love Bully.
yeah.
I
So
just
it's
got
like
it actually.
naughty bear.
No.
That's all. It's all Rockstar, right? Every last
Mhm.
one of them, right? I know. Yeah. So it's like stuff like that where Rockstar's going to push the lines when it comes to, um, I don't know. I guess things that are quote unquote frowned upon. Like
Yeah.
they're going to push the lines. It's no different than South Park.
And
They
they're
like the
gonna do
South
that.
Park of gaming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, they got the money to, and people are
Yeah.
gonna buy it either way. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Right.
They can sell
And
that game for $150. People are
and
gonna
it's
buy
being
it.
absolutely, and it's going to be bought in extremely large volume for sure.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's just it's no different than the world, man. You get on social media and you see this stuff. So now, especially now, like everything is really in the palm of your hands at this point.
Mhm.
So to me, there's no way to blame stuff on anything anymore because now everybody has the internet right at the tip of their fingers.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
so I think that's should be just not even spoken about. But I definitely can see some stuff coming. I just have an idea that they're gonna have some crazy stuff in there. So that's definitely something I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to. And believe it or not, well, let me ask you this too, since we're talking about GTA. Have you ever played through an entire GTA game and finished it?
Yes, all of
Okay.
almost all of
Oh,
them.
wow.
Yeah.
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 So I say that because I have this thing about games being very long. Like
Uh,
I get a little anxious, like I want to play through it, but it's like I want to be. I can't even say what's the perfect length of game. Maybe like
yeah.
the the first Spider-Man that came was Miles Morales came out on
Oh,
PS5.
yeah, that's pretty short.
Yeah, but
Um,
see, to me that's perfect. It don't need to be like super long,
I think it's like
but
11 hours.
yeah, but I want to do better at trying to play through some of those games. But GTA was one of those things where also because of the side missions, I kind of
Oh,
like if it was long and just streamlined. I think I'm okay with that. My problem is with these open world games, there's all these side missions. I kind of want to be guided. You got to do this next. You got to do this next.
mhm.
Versus where you can just go in any direction and in the main storyline, like you kind of got to lead your way back to it. Assassin's Creed is like that, where it's kind of like it's
I don't
not
like Assassin's
really,
Creed.
yeah, it's not really. You have your main storyline, but you can start doing something else, and it will kind of take you away from it. I kind of like
Yeah.
my stuff to be guided, so unfortunately, I've never played through any of them, but I have this thought process, right? I think we all as gamers have that. So I got the collection on the Switch, and I
Mhm.
feel like because it's portable, that gives me a chance possibly to play it more, where I'm just not limited to wait until I get home or something like that. Just the same as I got Red Dead Redemption, which actually is a good port for the Switch that people probably sleep on.
I've seen that,
People
yeah.
saying that it actually plays really well on there. So I decided to go that route and get that. We got a comment. You have some risky games cloaked in 2D pixels. Katana Zero. Yeah, there are some games that's like low key raunchy. Prime example was one I just traded was on original Xbox that Conquer. I forgot which one it was. Conquer. It's not Bad Fur Day, but Bad Fur Day on N64 kind of was pushing the line, especially for a Nintendo game. He was he was kind of a little raunchy in that. So, and I know this the one on Xbox, there were two versions. One I think had a warning symbol, and that one's worth a lot more, and that was the one that I traded. So that was that's definitely a good point that they low key tried to slide some stuff in there. Shadow of the Colossus is a great open world game. I haven't played that game. Isn't that on PS3 and 360? I believe. I feel like I've heard of it, but I haven't played
I've
that game
heard of
yet.
it. I've never played it.
Yeah. Okay. So Red Dead Redemption. Have you said Red Dead Redemption 2 is your favorite game,
Mhm.
right? So what did you think about the first one?
Okay. Um, I really like the first one, but I never played it myself. I just watched gameplays of it.
Okay.
But
I
I
mean,
know what it is and I know how it goes and stuff like that. But like, and it has my favorite video game speech in there. But I really like the story and that. I just never played it myself, which I need to. I know it's bad, but I haven't played it.
yeah, and it's funny that we're talking about that, and people just automatically assume, oh, you should have played this. But if you ask the common person, I guarantee you some game that you felt like they should have played that they probably didn't.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you just get caught up playing something that you play like it's coming up here soon. when it's Call of Duty season, like you can forget everything else for a good couple months.
Yeah.
Because even if I do play it for a little bit, let me get on Call of Duty, play a couple games real quick
Yeah.
online. Like I'm just kind of everything else kind of hits the back burner, and you got a lot of games like that now that people kind of not so much playing the solo games. They like playing online, which I enjoy a lot. I really do. I really do enjoy playing online more than I guess in ways more than playing solo at the
Mm-hmm.
house. So out of the two, which do you prefer? What type of gamer are you in regards to that? Are you more of an online multiplayer gamer, or do you like the
Mm-hmm.
solo storyline games?
Well, I really, really, really like solo, like great narrative games, but
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to come by that all the time because, like I said, I'm a completionist. So when those
Okay.
come out, like I complete it, I get the trophies for it. Like God of War, Ragnarok, that was a pretty long game. I completed because I just love the graphics and stuff like that. But in between, I have to go back to online Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Really, I also like couch co-op games, like Fall Guys,
Mm-hmm.
Overcooked, stuff like that.
Yeah.
When there's not big games, like right now, there's not really a big game for me to play. I still need to play Spider-Man 2, which is on my list, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's not really many other big games that I need to play right now.
So you brought up a point. You said you were a completionist. I get a
Yeah.
lot of flack from that. I actually was on Retro Wolf's podcast. Shout out to Retro Wolf. He was like, did you complete Super Mario Wonder? No, I didn't. Like my thing is, bro, like I feel like if I go through the motions play, that's the funny thing about Mario. Like it seems childish, but those levels will piss you off so bad. I just feel like
I
once I
bet.
get over the hump, I'm not going back and playing it. No, nope. And I admire people that do that, but me, I'm just okay with beating it. I'm just finishing the game. I played through the game. I'm good with that. But I
Hmm.
do have a question for you, since we
Hmm.
were kind of on that topic. Difficulty in games. How do you where do you tend to put your games at? Like in the middle, like normal, difficult, or easy?
Like of which ones like I would buy?
Or no, like you know how when you start a game, you can literally set the difficulty in the game.
Oh,
Where do where do you
oh.
normally set yours at?
So for stories, like for instance, like The Last of Us or the God
Mhm.
of War, I usually just put it like just in the middle because I
Okay.
want to enjoy the experience, not sweat,
Yeah.
trying to do it. But if
Yeah.
I go through it a second time, I'll usually turn up the difficulty because usually you get like more trophies for beating it at a higher
Mhm.
level. So like after I beat it once and like saw what it had to offer and stuff like that, I usually up the difficulty.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. It really depends for me. Normal is probably more or less where I would put it at.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I put it on easy because that's always been like kind of a topic. Like people, you got to play on hard or play on all madness.
Why?
I'm not doing
Why?
that. I'm not because my thing is like you said, I want to enjoy the game.
Mhm.
So yeah, if it's something that I feel like I want to be competitive at, maybe. But I'm not.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be losing all day, and
Yeah, that's
then
not
we
like
have a bunch of rage clips, which probably
yeah.
be funny. I literally binge watch rage clips of different streamers that's like breaking stuff. I just think it's the funniest crap in the world. But that to me, that's not enjoyable. That
Mhm.
is not enjoyable. That's why I like a lot of like the NES titles. They're
Mhm.
super hard, and it's like I would like to want to play it, but Jesus, like you made it so difficult. One game
Mhm.
that's difficult, that's kind of more modern, Cuphead. I love the game,
I love
but
Cuphead.
man, it took me so long to get through the first level. It was funny when I finally did it. My kids, they were locked in on Fortnite, right? So my oldest son and my little cousin, they were playing Fortnite. I said, you know what? Come out of the room, come down here. So I told him, look, I forgot what I promised him. I think I told him I would get them McDonald's or something if you get through this first level. And it took them so long, but they enjoyed that game. They still love that game to this day.
It's so
So I like,
fun.
yeah,
It's
it is a lot of
annoying, but
fun.
it's fun.
Super annoying, and that's like one of those games. It's like somebody made those levels like on Super Mario Maker. Like stuff is just all over the place coming in. I love the art design. Like that's a really
Mhm.
beautiful game. Like
Do you ever
so,
co-op it?
yeah, I've done like couch co-op sitting here with my son playing through it. Because
Mhm.
that's a lot of fun, like when you can kind of prairie them back in when they die and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that adds another level of difficulty too, because sometimes you might got to go back and get them.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
it's that's definitely one of my favorite games that's come out in the past. I'm sure it's been longer than 5 years now. It's probably like six, maybe six,
Yeah,
seven.
it's been a while. It's been
Yeah,
a while. But
but
it's a
yeah,
good game.
just yeah, it definitely is a good game. So we're gonna get to our show and tell segment where we show off pickups that we got this week.
Yeah.
This week I don't have very much. I only got one thing, and it's gonna shock some people. Picked up PS5, College Football 25. Now, I know I was just talking about not being in the sports titles, but the big thing with this was this game, the last one came out 10, 11 years ago, something like that. So it was a big
Mm.
deal. I've been seeing the gameplay everywhere. I'm like, it looks fantastic. And I got a really, really good deal on this game. Um, we're not gonna say how much of a good deal, but let's just say I like to only pay a certain price for sports titles. So I haven't played it. I did load it up. So hopefully I get to get some time in here. Maybe not today because I'm going to cook out for my son's birthday. So probably not. But that's pretty much what I got this week.
Yeah,
What
I've
about
never
you?
really been too big on sports games, but
Hmm.
I know that is blowing up pretty big.
Yeah,
The college sports, so that's good. You got your hands on one.
absolutely.
Um, right now, I'm gonna try and kind of cover this, but I picked up Mirror's Edge, and then I picked up um Heavy Rain.
Okay.
Heavy
I have.
Rain is yeah, I really like Heavy Rain. It's like one of those good like story games.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so and you get to like choose your own path and stuff like that. So I'm really glad to have picked that up.
Yeah. PS3 was good for a lot of those games. I've recently sold my PS3 collection.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yes, it's all Nintendo now. Um, I don't know. I don't have any remorse yet. I may, I may not. Who knows? I have
Hmm.
plenty to play. Like I really want to like start peeling through this Nintendo Wii library and giving games a shot. And I really want to get rid of the stigma that it's all shovelware. Like every console has its fair share of shovelware.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally every
That gotta
console.
hurt me because I'm collecting the PS3. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, if I had known, I probably would have been like, "Hey, do you want any of this?" I'm trying.
No, it's
I
okay.
think I think it's all gone now, or is it? I may still have some. I'll let you know. But anyway, one thing I did want to ask you because
Mhm.
as far as collecting is concerned, we know that each area is very different. So
Yeah.
out in the Midwest, like how is the gaming scene out there? Like sure you got Game Stops, but do you have
Mhm.
mom and pop shops, thrift stores and stuff like that? What's it look like in the Midwest?
So to be honest, it's not as many as I would like. It's really
Okay.
hard to find a good one. I think it's a good amount like down south of me, but as far as where I am, it's not a lot. Like I have to drive a good bit to get to these, retro gaming stores. And
Okay.
every now and then, like I picked up the Mirror's Edge. That was actually at a GameStop. But like every
Okay.
now and then, like I'll see a couple at GameStop. But yeah, it's not as many as I would like.
Okay.
And also
So
like conventions. There's no conventions out here either, so it's hard. We're
yeah,
gonna have to figure something out.
yeah, yeah. So like when you say you have to drive, like what does that drive time look like for
Like
you?
like 45 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, that's about the same for me here.
Mm,
There's a couple that's a little bit closer. They're like 25 minutes, but you gotta, regardless, you gotta drive. You gotta get in the car and
yeah.
kind of make your way because our thrift stores, Goodwill, stuff like that here in Maryland, they suck.
Yeah,
They
I
because
don't ever see anything there.
yeah, they send all that stuff down south for wherever they do the Goodwill auctions online. But you can get some stuff, but they literally have a department that sells the video games online. Like
Oh.
yeah, so that's 9 times out of 10 the reason why you won't find stuff like that in Goodwills. And also, I believe Goodwill has a gaming store somewhere in the south. Like it's a
Mm.
whole store, like Goodwill Game. I can't remember where it is. If somebody in the chat knows that, drop it in there. But they do have a store dedicated to gaming, which I guess in a way is cool. But I just feel like I should not be paying regular price at Goodwill. Like I don't know. I'm like borderline offended by that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I feel like if this is a store, then okay. But
Yeah,
You
they.
know,
Yeah, Goodwill's kind of hit and miss for me.
yeah, and they've
Mostly
been
miss.
yeah, but they've been. That's the thing though too. It's like they've been getting hip to with a lot of people doing like not even just video game resellers, just resellers. Period. Like I
Hmm.
was in a Goodwill a couple weeks ago, and one big seller on eBay is the DVD players or the
Hmm.
Blu-ray players. Certain ones sell for a decent amount, especially the DVD VCR combos. Like they sell for a significant amount. And I saw one, it was like a Samsung Blu-ray player in there, and it was like $70. I'm like, it's no way I'm paying $70. Not good. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. I'm
Nah.
not doing it. I was like, okay, obviously they know what the value is, but like I refuse to do that. Not in Goodwill. I'm sorry. You better drop that price down. It's not
Yeah,
happening.
they're
You
pushing
know.
it.
Yeah, no, they definitely pushing. I was like, are you serious? Like, I think I've recorded something. I'm gonna put together a short with that because I was like, yeah, Goodwill definitely got hit. People went in there talking too much. You
Hmm.
gotta keep the secrets in house.
Yeah.
So and now I'm sure like a lot of employees are hip to it. But we do got a couple other thrift stores out of Goodwill that sometimes you can find stuff, but even them, they're trying to get probably more money than what they should. Like $90 for a Wii or original Xbox. Like you are out of your mind. That
Hmm.
stuff ain't tested, clean or nothing. Like
Yeah, that's the main thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
no. I could see if it was from a store that they probably took the time to test it, clean it, and things of that nature. But no, not a Goodwill. They are wilding for that. But another question I got for you: with you being a female, what is your favorite game with a female protagonist?
That's a good question. Hmm. Okay, the first one that's coming to my mind, I don't know, I might have to think about this a little more, but just the first one that automatically comes up is Beyond Two Souls. I
Okay,
really like Beyond Two Souls. There's probably better ones out there, but that's the first one that comes to my mind. I just
so
like the uniqueness of it.
what is that game about? Because I haven't played it. I actually honestly thought you were going to say Tomb Raider because I feel like
No.
Lord Croft kind of okay.
No.
That that's different. That's good though. That's good though. I can appreciate the difference. But yeah, so what about this game? Like, if you can explain it to the people if
Yeah,
they haven't played
so
it, because I haven't.
it's kind of hard to explain. Basically, it's this girl who has powers, and her power is like this physical, like this entity that's like connected to her, and he can
Mhm.
like go around and like move things and like kind of like possess things and stuff like that. And it's basically her like growing up, like getting used to that, like um and finding a way to like just live with this like physical being. So like it just the game is basically just like her going through her like life, like and it's like different phases. So it'll start from like her being a child and like getting bullied with that, and then like her like trying to find love and like stuff like that. And then she goes through all these like mental episodes. It's really deep. It's really good. It's hard to explain, but it's really good. Trust me.
Yeah, that's definitely different. You definitely caught me off guard because I swore I'm
Yeah.
like she's probably gonna say Tomb Raider.
No,
Um,
I like that game, but not my favorite.
yeah. One of my favorite ones that I actually like put some time into. Bayonetta. I think that's a lot
Mm,
of fun. Bayonetta is a lot of fun. I'm trying to think what else outside of the typical Tomb Raider. But yeah, if I could pick Bayonetta, I love Super Princess Peach on the DS. That's a
oh yeah.
fantastic game. Um, so I'm trying to
Um,
think. Well, so would that be? I know you said you need more time because I'll go ask you get a people a suggestion, like because I definitely would like to do an episode based on that, just
yeah.
on female protagonists in games and stuff like that that are kind of you know they're not talked about as much. It doesn't happen a lot either.
Hmm.
So,
Another one that's pretty good is the Life is Strange series. They have a few games with
oh yeah,
female protagonists. Those are really good too.
right, yeah, that's definitely different. And I don't know if you could put The Last of Us quite in there because
Well,
it's
The
kind
Last
of
of Us 2 maybe, but
okay.
the first one, because that's
Yeah,
another one I was gonna say is The Last of Us 2, but I don't know if
okay,
that counts because yeah, it's kind of
yes,
50-50.
yeah, but I mean, still main character, so main
Mm-hmm.
playable character. Maybe not through the whole thing. Like with the first one, you had times where you can play. It was Ellie, right?
Yeah, Ellie.
Ellie, yeah, 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 I almost want to go back and play that game again. Like it was really that good.
You should. It's a good game. I was
I need
gonna
to.
thinking about buying the remake, but I cannot justify $70 for a remake. I don't know if they lowered it yet, but they
Yeah.
remade it and it was $70. I'm like, y'all gotta be kidding me because I'm not paying $70 for a
Yeah.
remake. Like
So
that's
I
crazy.
I bought the remaster on the PS4 version, played it on my PS5. But I know they remade Last of Us 2, which is kind of crazy that they did a remake for that already. Like it's
No,
not
it
that.
so yeah, they have a remaster for the first one, and then they did a remake for the first one. And then they also
Oh,
did a
okay.
remake for the second or a remaster
Oh,
for the second.
oh, wow. So there's two.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, that's a lot.
I
But
have the remaster. I did buy the remaster, but not the remake.
okay. Yeah, I wasn't gonna. I probably wouldn't. I'm sure they added some stuff in there. Well, maybe because I enjoyed it that much. Maybe I would do
Yeah.
that for that. But yeah, I don't know. But speaking of price drops, I just recently saw something. I'm in a Facebook group with Joe Rad for PlayStation Collectors Podcast on Best Buy right now. I wish I could pull up and show y'all, but y'all go over to Best Buy's website. They have dropped the price on the PSVR 2.
Ooh,
And remember, we were just
that's
talking about that a
good.
couple
Yeah,
weeks
we were
ago.
just talking about that.
Yeah. So I believe they have a bundle for like 350. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
350.
So well, the console by itself now you can get for 350. So that's
Mm-hmm.
$200 less. And then they have a Verizon, not Verizon, Jesus, Horizon Call Mountain Bundle for 400. So that's not bad. If you think like a PS5 game normally is like $70. So you're saving a little bit there, but it's about time they dropped the price on that because
Yeah.
they were doing bad. Like that intrigues me to possibly get into it now at that price point. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad that they did it. I would say the upcoming retro podcast led to that decision. Probably not, but we
It'd
probably
be
got some
funny
people
if they
talking
clicked
about
out
it.
our video. Yeah.
It'd be hilarious. Yeah, they sat up there and seen us talking about it, and they're like, "Yeah, you know what? We should do it." But yeah, if they didn't do that, like they were kind of dead in the water at that point. And so I'm expecting that to kind of pick up a little steam at that point if it stays there.
Yeah. I think they still need more first party games in my opinion.
Hmm.
But I think it definitely can help. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see um if this is if it's going to be an online or an ongoing sale, I should say. And then they have open box ones for 250. That
Oh,
really
that's a
kind
good
of,
price.
yeah. So that's definitely piquing my interest. So my recommendation to people, if you want to get into it, see if you're Best Buy or well, obviously online you can find them too. If you can get a open box one for 250, 245, like that's fantastic. Like that's awesome just to kind of get your feet in the game. And 9 times 10, everything's probably there. So you'll be good. I don't know which list is fair condition. Works like new, may have larger dents of scratch. I don't care. Like, what's the difference than buying a used one, honestly,
Yeah.
from out of your game store? So yeah, I would definitely do that for sure at 250. That's a great price point. Especially because what were they new? $599?
600, I think. Yeah. Around 600, a little less.
Yeah. So even the open box ones in excellent condition is 321. So
Mm-hmm.
that's 50%. I'm okay with that. Like I'm kind of looking to see if this open box is near me. Yeah, I might gotta get that. But then it's weird because it says shipping unavailable. So like, where am I gonna get it?
Right. Yeah.
Come
You
on,
better
Best Buy.
drive. Start
Yeah,
driving.
Best Buy need to get that together. Seriously. So we'll go through the comment section one last time. Shout out to Solomon McNeil says I play new gen video games and old gen video games. It's a
Same.
nice blend. This guy, he has one of the greatest names ever. Porn star JR. Shout out to him. He's been he's supported for quite some time, man. We always
Oh,
get
okay.
a kick out of that name every time it pops out. I just think it's freaking hilarious. But thank you for that. I appreciate that. So we're coming up on an hour here. We're gonna end the episode. So let the people know what they could expect from your channel in the future next few episodes.
Yeah, so it's funny. I think I actually have a PlayStation VR video coming
Oh
out.
wow. Okay.
And then yeah, I just did one with Xbox News. Also in the coming weeks, I'm excited to start back doing what's it called, before you buys, because that's really big on my channel too. I love doing before you buys, not just to inform me, but to inform everybody else on the games that's coming out and stuff like that. And the second half of the year, usually you start having more games come out, so I'm really excited for that.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, those are always interesting. I think those are good knowledgeable points because I'm pretty sure a lot of people do it. I know as far as me, I don't know every single game, right? I don't know the dates they come out. I don't know about every game. But if I want to try to get an idea of what this game's about, other than the cover art looking cool, I go on
Hmm.
YouTube. So like those videos are so necessary.
I love
And
them.
yeah, I mean, and that goes to show why they're popular. Because people want to know, all right, I see people giving their opinion on it, but like, is it something that I actually want to spend that amount of money on and
Hmm.
play? Like, that definitely helps you decide, like, okay, for instance, the college football, there's no way I'm paying $70 for that. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I refuse to do it. Now, if I was to get back into it like I was maybe like 10 years ago when I was playing online heavy, which I still think that's super fun, just being competitive.
Hmm.
But I have a hard time paying $70 for that. But then I guess I'll borderline sound like a hypocrite because I will for Call of Duty. But I played that game. I played that game. Like it's one of
Yeah, if
those
you're
things
gonna
like,
play it, then yeah.
yeah, that's something like I hop online the day it comes out. Like, yeah, that's a little different. If it's something like that, I'm just gonna casually play. Probably 9 times out of 10, if my cousin comes over, one of the homeboys or my son or something like that, that's when I would play that game. But I'm kind of interested to play that because of all the buzz around it. So Solomon says, when is the PSVR 2 coming out? It's been out for quite some time.
Yeah, it
Well
came out
over.
last year,
Yeah,
February, I believe.
yeah. Right now, Best Buy is holding a sale. I don't know if anybody else has it for sale, but yeah, if you definitely want to get into it, shout out to Joe Rad. He put that in the chat. He's the host PlayStation Collectors podcast, and he's a really big PlayStation VR fan.
Mm.
Really, really big PlayStation. He's a big PlayStation fan in general, but he's big on PlayStation VR and playing those like interactive games, which I enjoy those games a lot too. It's not Beat Mania. What is that? What is that beat game called?
Beat Saber?
Um, yeah, that's it. That's what I thought it was, but I was thinking that the thing was called a Saber. But yeah, those games like that are just a ton of fun.
Yeah, I played it once and it was really fun. It's addicting.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think the closest thing I got is on the Switch. I still gotta get the drum. I forgot what it's called, but it's the really popular arcade series with the drums. I can't pronounce it. Starts with a T. I'm-
Mm.
It's got the mascot's little white like bear cat looking thing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I
I
can't
can't
remember the
think of what
name
it
of
is
it,
either.
and I can't pronounce it for crap. I know I have it, but I said I was gonna get the drum. Like I always play that when I see it at the arcade. But like stuff like that, I just love playing, especially like game nights and stuff like that. I'm about to go on vacation with the kids. So when I do that, I normally bring my Switch, bring games that
Hmm.
we can play multiplayer. We tend to have a lot of fun with that. So I need to find those drums before then because I need to play that for sure. But we're coming up on an hour. We're going to end the episode. You got any last thoughts, AK?
No, what do you have coming up for your channel? We talked about mine, but not yours.
Oh, so special shout out to everybody for supporting the channel.
Yeah.
First and foremost, week before last, I put out a really big video. I showed that I completed the North American reset. That video is performing great. It's fantastic. And a couple days ago, I put out a video where it was sponsored by Nintendo. It was a really, really big deal for me. Very, very big deal for me. So big shout out to Nintendo. So coming up, it's definitely going to be. I believe this Friday's episode is going to be a big deal because we're starting a new series this Friday. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be exciting. I think it's going to get some people talking. It's going to be exciting, and we're starting a new journey. So that's what you can look forward to. About Taylor is going to be a new journey, and um, definitely going to be looking to do. I want to do more collabs coming up. Just kind of not just necessarily has to be in person, but like kind of going into more detail with certain games and stuff like that. I want to be
Mhm.
able to have those conversations because I feel like a lot of times, you get caught up in the game hunting videos. Like I want to actually talk about stuff and play it, talk about
Yeah,
stuff
for
that I
sure.
played. So that's that's what we're going to do moving forward. But on that note, we're going to end today's episode. We're going to thank AK for having a great conversation on this week's
Yeah.
episode, and we will see you guys next Sunday. Real quick though, AK, let the people know where they can find you if they don't know already.
AkayGames on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. I'll be there waiting.
Simple enough. Make sure you guys go support her channel. Greatly appreciate it. We will see you guys next week.
Man, bye guys.